Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, even for those of you who are on a different time zone. So today we covered three topics. We talked about misinformation, we talked about regulation for growth, and we talked about the impact of AI on businesses. So I'd like to take a few minutes to revisit these three topics. First, Marshall van Alstyne, who is one of the foremost experts on digital platforms in the world, really, and on misinformation, invited us to think about misinformation as a type of market failure. So what is a market failure? A market failure is something that impacts you negatively, but that you're not responsible for. So pollution was used as a great analogy. The problem with market failure, by definition, is that it doesn't correct itself. So Marshall is proposing to introduce a range of incentives within the system so that people can basically put a stake to signal the veracity of their content. And there's a mechanism within the ecosystem to check this and to basically amplify information that is accurate, has got a high quality, and maybe dampen the broadcasting of the information that is of low quality. So this is a very interesting mechanism. Clearly, this is at the research stage, but we happen to believe that it would be great to actually experiment on this. And if a social network is out there thinking about how to develop a competitive advantage in that field, something that is valuable, rare, difficult to imitate, I think a platform that would have very low misinformation and very high quality information would probably do very well. Also clearly of interest to policymakers within the platform leaders community. So, if you have questions, feel free to get in touch and we'll connect you with Marsha. So very interesting first session. Then we talked about how to regulate for growth. So regulating for growth really is a relevant concept, a relevant topic around the world, but it's especially important for the UK government, who has issued very clear instructions, so-called steer, to all the regulators to make sure that they take growth seriously, I think in the words of our Prime Minister. And the CMA, the Competition Markets Authority, is in charge of the regulation of digital markets. And clearly they take notice of these steers and instructions. And it will be really interesting to see how that plays out. Now, Daniel Gordon reminded us of the importance of economic growth, and he brought to bear his dual perspective because he worked both at the Treasury and macroeconomic growth and innovation, and also at the CMA at the micro end of the market, looking after competition and how firms behave. And he reminded us that many of the tools in the toolbox for these regulators were in fact tools that were developed for static markets. So that's these may not be the best tools to bring to bear in the context of highly dynamic environments. So maybe the job of regulators is a bit more difficult than initially thought. We also heard from Alex Baker at Fingleton, who clearly has his finger on the pulse on these issues, and told us that foreign direct investment was an important ingredient for the government in the UK, and clearly potentially one of the elements that were taken into account when these instructions were given to various government departments and regulators. So of course that investment is important for growth. And the UK is sort of in a unique position. The EU is adopting an ex-ante rule-based regulatory framework with the DMA and the DSA. The US clearly is more of a judicial market that happens to basically litigation largely determines the outcomes. And the UK is in the middle with a principle-based framework, and codes of conduct in the case of the sort of DMA. So it will be interesting to see how these play out, even though clearly competition and regulation is only one ingredient in the mix that brings about innovation. So interesting to hear Rory as well talk about what all the things that Google are doing, and you won't be surprised to hear that. Of course, Google is a big actor in the economy and contributing hundreds of billions to the economic activity here in the UK. And Rory reminded us that Google keeps on innovating. I think he mentioned a paper that was co-authored by 8 Google researchers. The paper is titled, it's basically Attention is All You Need. It's a 2017 paper about transformers, and then that's really what brought about, the explosion of generative AI services that we see today. And more recently, clearly, Denis Hassabis also got a Nobel Prize, not in AI, interestingly, the Nobel Prize in chemistry, but clearly it's for his work on AI that allowed to better understand the structure and how you fold proteins. So Google, we understand, still very much at the forefront of innovation. We then moved on to our last panel to talk about the impact of AI on businesses. And in particular, we looked at a number of service platforms. So Laure masterfully managed this panel, and we heard Sébastien Lafont, who has worked at Meilleurs Agents and now EduMapper. And both platforms are effectively helping people make the right decisions on things that are very important in life, in which kind of education you choose and what kind of real estate you end up acquiring, big high stakes events in one's life, and told us how he was thinking about creating a competitive advantage. How do you get defensible data assets? And it could be by leveraging your community, unique relationships with data providers. How do you build expert capabilities that are focused on your area, so you're not exposed to the generic models, or not as exposed? Maybe adding a little bit of of course, the brand and things like that, but maybe adding a little bit of human touch as well could help you create something unique in that field. So we look forward to see EduMapper develop its AI capabilities going forward. Now, Tito Unda told us about his experience at Jobs&Talent, so very large staffing marketplace, and Tito actually rolled out not only AI throughout the company, but AI agents for some of the key processes within the platform, like recruitment, customer support, etc. And he did that pretty quickly. I think it was, the timeline was something like 6 months between the initial idea, the testing, and then the scaling up of some of these agents. So it can do that quite quickly. I was also glad to hear him say that he was overwhelmed at the beginning, because when we advise clients, I mean, many people get overwhelmed at the beginning of this journey, but then when you start, you can see the benefits, and these compound over time. So interesting advice from Tito. And Jeremy closed that panel. So Jeremy has got his new book out. So if you're interested, Bulletproof Your Marketplace is the title. And he told us, how you can use AI to create the right trust and the right safety environment in your platform, but also reminded us that the bad guys are using AI as well. So the nature of the threat is increasing. And that's one of the reasons why using AI is less and less of an option, because as a defense mechanism, it's almost becoming a requirement in many settings these days. So that's it from the panels. As Laure mentioned at the beginning of this event, AI is once again a transversal theme across all these panels. And we firmly believe that individuals, organizations, and institutions need to prepare for this wave of transformative AI. So we've launched collectiveintelligence.ai. At the moment, we are working on a white paper on the future of search. And the title is Search in an AI World, Navigating the Transformation of Digital Discovery. And all the rules are changing. They're changing fast. We have a small working group. Quite a few people are from the community are inputting to that process. So if you're interested, do reach out. But you will be hearing more from us later on this year in any case. So that's it. I mean, it's been a pleasure having you all. So thank you all for joining the event today. Thank you for asking questions. Thank you to our panelists, policymakers, executives, academics, and all that. It was great to have such a diverse community once again convene today. Thank you to all my colleagues at Launchworks & Co in the background who are making this possible. So thank you, Robin. Thank you, Justin, Stephanie, Laura, of course, and David, who's been scribbing in real time. And so thank you all. Sponsors are also allowing us to keep these events free. So Launchworks is sponsoring the event, but thank you also to Google who is sponsoring the event with us. And we look forward to seeing you later on this year at our hybrid event that will take place in London and online. So now I'm going to leave you with some scribbing illustrations from David. And that's all from me. Thank you all. See you very soon.